Greg Norman says LIV Golfers were the reason for the higher Masters TV ratings. Massive ratings increase of Masters tournament? Greg Norman claims LIV Golf is to thank for increased Masters TV ratings. In this video, we are going to show you what Greg Norman claims about Masters TV ratings. The Masters saw a rapid rise in TV viewership after Jon Rahm secured his maiden green jacket, and LIV Golf CEO Greg Norman believes the increase was down to the returning LIV Golf stars. Greg Norman believes that the return of LIV Golf stars to the PGA Tour contributed to the surge in TV viewings at this month's Masters tournament at Augusta. Greg Norman implies Masters ratings boost due to LIV Golfers. Augusta National recognized that, and look what happened with their ratings when the LIV players came in. It has increased by 19%. The hype before the 2023 Masters was dominated by the impending showdown between PGA Tour loyalists and the handful of LIV Golf players who would be sharing the Augusta National that week. Once the Masters began, there were several notable storylines, including Tiger Woods' appearance, Phil Mickelson's press conference drama, Rory McIlroy playing while mic'd up, a tree felled by massive winds forcing the tournament to change its weekend schedule, Mickelson's late surge, and an exciting weekend leaderboard topped by Brooks Koepka until he eventually fell off, allowing Jon Rahm to win the green jacket. After having their memberships banned by Commissioner Jay Monahan, a handful of LIV players made a long-awaited return to the tour at the year's first major. LIV celebs who were able to compete were granted access to the historic event, which was administered by Augusta National bosses. 18 Rebels made their comeback at the Georgia course, and they more than made their mark. Brooks Koepka, a four-time major champion, excelled after having the 54-hole lead before being edged out by eventual champion Rahm by 4 strokes. He was joined by another LIV star, Phil Mickelson, who shot a final round 7 under par 65 to tie for second with Koepka. While the Saudi-backed circuit has made strides in its first 10 months, PGA Tour bans and a failure to secure world ranking points have undoubtedly slowed their progress. However, following an excellent Masters performance, Norman believes that interest in LIV Golf is alive and well. I do hope there is a resolution to this ongoing dispute with the PGA Tour, because the game of golf does not need to suffer, he remarked during their event in Adelaide this week. All of it culminated in strong Sunday ratings that were not only up 19% from 2022, but ended up as the most viewed round of golf on any network since the 2018 Masters final round. While several of the aforementioned factors may have contributed to the Sunday viewership bump, LIV Golf CEO believes that his golfers were the primary cause. During a press conference in Adelaide on Thursday, Norman was discussing the news that the DP World Tour had won its arbitration case against LIV, allowing for the reinstatement of fines and suspensions imposed on LIV golfers, when he mentioned what he sees as tangible proof of what the Saudi-backed golf league brings to the table. These guys shouldn't have to endure. OWGR does not have to suffer. Augusta National understood this, and look what happened to their ratings when the LIV players arrived. It had increased by 19%. Who was the lucky recipient? Augusta National, correct? He also praised the breakaway league, saying, LIV is a force for good, and now guys want to play. They want to play in the big leagues. You don't think CBS, NBC, or the corporations who sponsor those major championships don't want Cam Smith, the Open champion, to compete in their major? Of course they do, I say. It's a heartbreaking shame if they take their narrow view of LIV, where they're going to ban these guys because of another product. Well, I believe Augusta National proved that point emphatically. In fact, the situation is more complicated than Norman would want. Yes, it's almost probably true that the prospect of LIV golfers Koepka and Mickelson winning the Masters piqued the interest of viewers. And there's no denying that the build-up to the LIV PGA player confrontation piqued people's interest. However, the other aforementioned touchpoints also had a role in what turned out to be a highly competitive Sunday. And while NBC and CBS would love to see more of Cam Smith, Dustin Johnson, Bryce DeChambeau, Mickelson, and Koepka, given the numbers for LIV on the CW, it appears that interest is limited to individuals rather than the league. Greg Norman wants to sit back and talk with the PGA Tour. Greg Norman believes his breakaway tour helped the Masters audience. Despite this, the Australian has stated that he wants to sit down and chat with the PGA Tour. While the juicy PGA Tour versus LIV narratives enhance to the sport's entertainment value, Norman wants to reconcile the two factions. Yeah, maybe we should sit down and talk. It will happen somehow and someplace down the road. And why not do it sooner rather than later? They must have realized by now that we are not leaving. He also stated that he believes LIV Golf will continue to expand. The Rebel leader went on to say, "We will continue to move forward. I have a list of players that want to join, names that will astound you, but contracts must be honored and we will do it responsibly. We have relegation and promotion in place and everything is proceeding as planned. I believe that we will soon have world ranking points at our tournaments, as otherwise those rankings will become obsolete." While a formal dialogue between LIV Golf and the PGA is unlikely, it will be interesting to see how the two parties react to the shifting realities of the sport. LIV CEO Greg Norman stokes PGA rivalry with plans to storm the Masters' 18th green. For the first time this year, LIV golfers are competing alongside Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, and Scottie Scheffler. Greg Norman has goosebumps at the prospect of all 18 LIV golfers competing at the Masters storming the 18th green to rejoice if one of the Breakaway Tour's players wins on Sunday. Augusta National Golf Club said in December that all players who met the criteria to qualify for the 2023 Masters, including those competing in the LIV Golf Series, would be able to compete. Since LIV Golf's inception last year, several of golf's biggest names, including Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, and Phil Mickelson, have been barred from competing on the PGA Tour. It has meant that golf has been deprived of watching the finest battle against one another on a weekly basis, but that is poised to change this week at Augusta. There's talk in our teams all around here about how there are 18 of us LIV guys at Augusta, and if one of the guys, no matter who it is, they're all going to be there on the 18th green. That just gives me goosebumps to think about, he added. When you walk up 18 and your caddy hugs you, you see your wife or your mother and father. Now having those other 17 men there, that's the spirit we're looking for, he said. That's what these people discuss. They are stating that we will be there regardless of who wins or who is in that position. And just thinking about it gives me goosebumps. Norman will not be present to cheer on the 18 LIV golfers competing this week because he was not invited. Until recently, his two Open Championship victories in 1986 and 1993 had always guaranteed him a spot at the Masters. When Norman speaks plainly, his "we against them" language still irritates those competing on the PGA Tour, and Rory McIlroy believes the LIV boss's recent comments don't assist the Breakaway Tour's cause. "I think that only puts more pressure on them, that they are not just playing for themselves but for this cause," he remarked. "Look, this competition is far greater than that. Look, it's a narrative and a storyline, but the Masters sits above all that noise, and that's the way it should be this week." What are your thoughts on this? Please leave your feedback in the comments area. If you liked today's video and found it interesting, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to receive the most recent stuff as soon as it's uploaded. Remember to keep on swinging and living your enthusiasm for the game till next time. I'll see you on the greens.